What's going on, Cougar fans? Welcome to another week's edition of CUC Women's Basketball Weekly. I'm Parker Kelly with the Cougar Sports Network, joined by head women's basketball coach Lauren Martin. Coach, let's go ahead and get right into it. The Cougars are riding a 3-game win streak right now, playing some great basketball, and it all started last Saturday against Dominican University. Cougars got a big-time win. First conference win of the season. Kalia Reed, another 20-point performance, really led that offensive charge. How does it feel to get that first NAC win under your belt?
Well, it's just exciting to be in conference play, and you play all the non-conference games, kind of to get you geared up for playing in the NAC. And for Kalia, having that kind of debut is super promising for what her career will be. But more importantly, like our whole team had, everybody had a little bit to do with our offensive performance. So.
Absolutely, and the Cougars had 2 wins this week on Monday versus Great Lakes Christian College, and then last night versus Alverno College, both big-time wins. The win last night, another conference win, so now sitting at 2-0 in the conference. What really stuck out to me, besides the Cougars being polished on both sides of the ball, everybody got a little bit of play time. The bench really got some minutes. How is that going to benefit this team later on in the season when you're going to have to rely on the bench a little bit more?
I mean, the experience gained is priceless. So I think on Monday we scored something like 46 points from our bench. And that extra experience that some of our younger kids are getting, and just extra touches, extra reps against other people than ourselves, is going to help us have that depth, and we are deep. And so it's really great to have the depth, but also help him with confidence, help him with just that experience. So when they are put in a position with pressure, they understand the pressure is opportunity and good things will happen.
And we talked about this a little bit last night after the game. Kalia Reed went down with that injury right before halftime. This is a big loss for the team going forward. We should expect to see her back, however, in a couple weeks. But the team is going to host the University of Wisconsin lacrosse. They're a very good team. We mentioned the Cougars on a 3-game win streak. What's the team's mindset heading into tomorrow?
Well, we just touched on it a second ago. The depth that we have, as you know, Kalia is a big part to what we do, but everybody's a big piece to what we do. And so we know that if someone isn't there, someone else will be. And that's just kind of how we have to approach it. We're going to have to play as hard as we can, as scrappy as we can, and just be disciplined and refined in what we've been getting better at each and every one of these games.
Absolutely. Coach, thank you for your time today, and best of luck on Saturday.
Thank you.
And make sure to check out the Cougars as they host UW lacrosse on Saturday. Tip-off is scheduled for 2 p.m. and coverage can be found on our athletics website at cucougars.com, also on our YouTube page at CUC Sports. I'm Parker Kelly signing off, and we'll see you next week on CUC Women's Basketball Weekly. Go Cougars. Good afternoon, Cougar fans, and welcome inside Geisman Gymnasium for today's non-conference matchup between the Eagles of the University of Wisconsin-La Crosse and the Cougars of Concordia University Chicago. I'm Parker Kelly, joined by Peter Borkowski on the Cougar Sports Network. Peter, let's go ahead and talk about the visiting Eagles. So they've had almost 3 weeks off since their last matchup versus Gustavus Adolphus College in the Thanksgiving Classic. The Eagles, they cannot get much generated on the offensive end. Kaylee Meeker, the only player with double-digit figures with 10 points.
Yeah, Meeker, really the only offensive highlight from that last UW lacrosse game, as Parker said. 10 points, the only player to reach double-digit for lacrosse. And it was just a rough shooting day overall for them. 24% from the field, 18% from three-point land, and they got killed on the fast break, outscored 18-3 by their opponent. So Cougars, they're going to be catching a team who looked a little slow in their last game, and as Parker's mentioned, as an extended time off, so Cougars might be able to attack that rustiness that lacrosse might be coming in with.
Now the Eagles are also on a 2-game losing skid. However, one of their better players on both sides of the ball, Lauren Milne, she's averaging almost 11 points per game as well as 7 rebounds.
Yeah, Milne, 5'10", one of those players who can get it done both in points and in terms of grabbing the boards. Coaches love those players who, they have the flashiness to score points, but they also get down and dirty, get those dirty rebounds, which of course lead to second chance points, lead to defensive possessions, whatever it may be. Milne's really going to be a player to watch out for the Cougars. We see sometimes the Cougars' Achilles heel is good bigs, and while Milne's not your typical big, a little shorter than that at 5'10", if she's getting those kinds of rebound numbers while still putting up double-digit points, definitely someone who could cause havoc for the Cougars.
Now let's talk about the Cougars. They're on a 3-game winning streak. They're seeming to heat up at a very opportune time. Cougars are coming off a 71-52 victory versus Alverno College on Wednesday night. The Cougars' defense was what really stuck out on Wednesday.
Yeah, Alverno, 31 turnovers. Some of those forced, some of them just errors, but the fact that the Cougars' defense was able to do that, force over 30 turnovers, that's a really good sign for Coach Lauren Martin and the rest of our coaching staff. And the Cougars benefited on a lot of those points. The points off of turnovers was a pretty good margin for CUC as well, and they're getting turnovers all over the court. That was the key, Parker. It wasn't just, blocks in the paint, sending down the bus and hoping they run into it. They were getting steals, on full court presses right under the other team's basket. Those lead to easy points for CUC. Hopefully we see a little bit more of that, as well as Alexis Desjardins, 23 points, led the team against Alverno, had three-pointers. Desjardins has been really the star of the Cougars this season. She's had a good game just about every time it feels we watch her.
Cannot forget to talk about her. Now let's go ahead and talk about the Cougars lineup. It's going to look a little different today. Kalia Reed went down with an injury in the first half, right before halftime versus Alverno College, and starting in her place today, Princess Gates.
Yeah, Princess Gates, another one of those kind of do-it-all players, only averaging 4 points and 2 rebounds a game, but she makes up for it elsewhere. Good speed, good vision, has good defensive skills as well. She's got 11 steals on the season, so I don't think Coach Martin, of course, you're a little sad that you're losing Kalia Reed, who is one of the standouts of this Cougar season in her freshman year, but I don't think Coach Martin's going to be hurting too much because Princess Gates should be able to step up into that starting role quite admirably.
And a little history lesson. The Cougars are 0-2 all-time versus their Eagles. Their last matchup came last year, November 21st, 2022, suffered a 20-point loss to the Eagles. Cougars really looking to turn that tide today. Peter, what are the Cougars going to have to do to get it done this afternoon?
We just want to see more of that defensive pressure from the Alverno game. Full court presses, aggressive hands, getting a piece of the ball and causing chaos. That's really when this Cougars team succeeds the most. Some nights they have rough shooting tonight. This isn't an exceptionally well shooting team in terms of field goal percentage, but where they make up for that is easy baskets off of caused turnovers. The Cougars can keep doing that today like they did against Alverno. Not saying they need to force 31, but if they can get anywhere close to that number, should be a good day to wear the maroon and gold.
My key to the game is pretty similar. Got to keep that defensive pressure up for sure against a team who, yes, has struggled to score, but they can get going in a hurry. Also, you got to find a player to supplement Alexis Desjardins. She's been a consistent scorer for the Cougars here early in the season, but when you lose a player like Kalia Reed, who has had several 20-point games this season, have to have a player to supplement Alexis Desjardins, who's going to step up for the Cougars. But it should be an interesting one as tip-off is almost underway. We're going to go ahead and send it courtside for the playing of our national anthem and starting lineups. But first, a message from President of CUC, Dr. Russell Don.
Hello, I'm Dr. Russell Dawn, President of Concordia University Chicago. Thank you for tuning in to today's Cougar Athletics broadcast. We take great pride in the strength of both our athletic and academic programs, which are rooted in our steadfast commitment to Jesus Christ. Dedicated to the liberal arts as a foundation of a high-quality college degree, we believe education should form individuals for service to their neighbors. This makes Concordia Chicago an exciting and fulfilling place to study, work, learn, and grow. Learn more today by visiting cuchicago.edu. Thank you, and go Cougars!
Quick little announcement before we get started today. Parker, could you please come down here? All right, we'll make this pretty brief, but if any of you guys have watched any of our live streams over the last couple of years, Parker has been the live commentator for that. He does our Coaches Weekly. He's graduating early here in the next couple of weeks, and he's just been a great little extension of everything we do here. Give it up to our SID staff who allows our students to do things like our students do. And Parker, you have been an amazing young man to get to know from that first COVID call back a couple of years ago. So thank you so much for everything. We appreciate you so, so much, and I know you're going to do big things up in the world. So thank you.
And with that, we are almost underway here in Geisman Gymnasium. Real quick, let's give a rundown of the starting lineups just in case you missed it. First for the visiting Eagles, number 10, Lauren Milne. Number 11, Paige Schumann. Number 22, Kaylee Meeker. Number 23, Grace Knupp. And number 33, Lindsay Knuth. And now for the Cougars, number 0, Missouri Wiggum. Number 10, Princess Gates. Number 4, Michaela Ellis. Number 12, Alexis Desjardins. And number 15, Leela Scott. Lindsay Knuth and Michaela Ellis both set to tip off here inside of Geisman Gymnasium, a non-conference matchup between the Eagles and the Cougars. The third all-time matchup. Wisconsin Lacrosse leads the series 2-0. And we are underway as Lacrosse wins the opening tip-off, and taking it up the court is Paige Schumann. Princess Gates got a hand on it, goes out of bounds, but possession going to stay with UWL.
Excited to see how Gates plays in this starting lineup, getting the start with Kalia Reed on the injured list so far this year. Gates has not started in a game until tonight, so interested to see how she'll perform.
A quick three, that's off the front of the rim by Meeker. However, Eagles getting the offensive board. Driving in, that's Milne. Tries to get it back out.
It's a good switch there by Ellis to stop that drive. Good communication between her and Scott to start out here.
Eagles, a team that are struggling on offense. They're trying to get going early, but an empty possession with the Missouri Wiggum rebound, who's going to take it up the court, the senior out of Naperville, Illinois.
You know, sometimes a possession like that, it's better for a defense. I just think we're going to get our first points here.
Quick steal and a layup. It's good by Grace Knupp, but she's fouled on the way up. Looks like it's going to go against Alexis Desjardins. That would be the first foul of the game, not even a minute into the contest.
Yeah, tough break there for Desjardins. Playing the chase down defense. Must have just got a piece of her or something. Not sure exactly what the contact was, but I was going to say, sometimes an empty possession, that's more encouraging for a defense than a steal or a big block, because it shows that, you know, you can go 30 seconds through the shot clock, not give up any good looks, not give up any points. That's really encouraging for a defense to see. Obviously, the fast break point kind of negates that, but that was a good first settled defensive possession for the Cougars.
Now Gates gets it up to Ellis. Gates getting the start today in replacement of Kalia Reed. That layup, should I say floater, no good. Rebound pulled in by Milne. Gets it quickly up the court to Meeker. Talked about Meeker a little bit in the pregame show. A quick three is good from Lindsay Knuth from the corner.
They found the open shooter in the corner. Most, solid basketball players, they're going to make that 9 times out of 10. Corner three, one of the more efficient shots in basketball. See if the Cougars can capitalize.
Now Michaela Ellis trying to return the favor. That's no good. Rebound pulled in by Knuth. Eagles already off to a 6-0 start. Trying to tack it on. No, that's no good. Rebound pulled in by Desjardins. Also talked about Desjardins. Had a season-high 23 points in her last outing versus Alverno College.
Not the possession you want there from CUC. Obviously, Desjardins, your best three-point shooter in terms of percentage, but still, first look on the possession, she puts up a top of the key three. Probably want to slow things down a little bit, get a better look than that. As good a three-point shooter as she is.
That was a good find from Desjardins. Gates not able to convert on the other end. Cougars' scoring drought continues as they have just not been able to generate anything on the offensive end. Now Gates fighting for the ball, picked up by Lacrosse, and now going up strong is Meeker. Now the Eagles are up 8-0.
Yeah, well, this is a good Lacrosse defense. I mean, coming into tonight, they're letting opponents score just 65.3 points a game. Granted, they're only scoring 65.9 points a game, but this is a team, they've only allowed a team to score over 70 points once. That was on the season opener against St. Catherine, and they still won that game, 82-71. So this is a solid defensive team, and Cougars are feeling that right now, still getting their first basket, 7-11 to go.
So a quick timeout called by Coach Martin, 30-second timeout. We'll go ahead and keep it here. Going through the numbers a little bit, Wisconsin Lacrosse is a pretty solid defensive team. So are the Cougars. Cougars had a 3-game stretch scoring a high volume of points coming into today, averaging almost 69 points per game, which ranks second in the conference. But just looking at how they've started so far today, you wouldn't think that's the case.
No, it's not been a nice start for this offense whatsoever. I mean, you're still looking for your first point, 7-11 to go, and we haven't really seen a good look. Well, okay, Michaela Ellis's corner three, that one probably should have been converted. That was a high percentage shot right there. But other than that, Cougars are still looking for just a good shot. And, I mean, credit UW La Crosse. They're playing some tough defense. They're not giving the Cougars a lot of open space, a lot of open lanes. Cougars, you're hoping during that 30-second timeout, Coach Martin kind of said, hey, this is what we need to do to break this defense, because whatever they were trying through the first, a little less than 3 minutes was not working.
Now Missouri Wiggum, an open lane to the basket. She's fouled on her way up. That was by Sydney Torgerson, who just came into the game for the Eagles. So that's going to send Missouri Wiggum to the free throw line, a chance at the first points of the afternoon for the Cougars.
Sometimes that's what it takes to get points on the board. A hard drive to the rim, you go up, probably draw a foul on the way, and then you capitalize on the charity stripe. Now the Cougars, they have their first point. They're going to have a chance at another point here, but that's a good way to break a tough defense, is just a hard drive, get to the rim, and get some free points. Now see if that opens the floodgates for the rest of this offense.
Missouri Wiggum able to convert on both free throws on the season. Missouri Wiggum shooting, coming into today, 70%. She was 7 of 10. Now make that 9 for 12 on the season. As Cougars applying that full court pressure, we've seen that as of recently, that they like to start out the games that way. A corner three from Knuth, no good. Offensive board, put-up shot, no good as well. So the Cougars, good break defensively. Now they have a chance to chip away at this lead.
Cougars are getting caught on some screens here. We saw 2 Cougars get caught on one off-ball player. That allowed that open corner three. CC does need to communicate a little bit better than that, so they're not having more than one player drawn to an off-ball carrier.
Now Michaela Ellis driving in. She's going to pull up, and it's good. Michaela Ellis, that automatic jumper.
Yeah, that's her spot. Once she reaches just inside that paint, you cannot allow any space for her, any jumper, anything to the rim. I mean, she's going to capitalize that once she reaches past the free throw line. And UW La Crosse is feeling that right there. Eagles, they've seen their lead cut in half now since they went up 8-0.
Now the Eagles getting the ball swung around. A corner three, good. Grace Knupp, her first three-pointer of the afternoon. Now the Eagles with the 11-4 lead, 5:50 remaining here in the first quarter.
Eagles capitalizing on Princess Gage. She lunged out to try to pick off that pass. And because of that, Eagles, they had a 5-on-4 for a split second, just moved the rock. Cougars could not rotate quite fast enough. Good contest there by Layla Scott, just a little too late. Look at that three.
Now Wiggum, a pull-up jumper, air ball. So an empty possession for the Cougars. The Eagles going to go back on offense. Already seen a couple of substitutions made by Wisconsin La Crosse. And their head coach, Moran Lawning, in her first season with the program. Up top, that's Katie Wakaw. And a foul called. This is going to go against La Crosse.
Yeah, Torgerson, tied up Leela Scott. They kind of got their arms tangled up, and Torgerson just kind of boxed her out from defending the shooter, which you can't interfere like that if you don't even have the ball. So good call there by the referee. Cougars trying to break this press now. Eagles have been aggressive, kind of using the Cougars' own tactic against them that we saw in the Alverno game.
And a tip by Katie Wakaw, who also just came into the game not too long ago for the Eagles. They're starting to apply a little bit of defensive pressure as well. And now a 10-second violation going to go against the Cougars. So the Eagles, another nice defensive possession. They've been stringing together a few of those here early.
Well, the Eagles, they're sending more than one player to the ball when the Cougars are trying to clear it up court. And if that's the case, if you're CUC, you got to move the ball. I mean, you got 2 players on you. That means somebody's open somewhere, or the Eagles are in a zone. And I've said it before, the ball moves faster than your feet, so just pass that thing away and you should have somebody open. Easier said than done, of course. That's how you usually are able to break a press.
Now layup from the Eagles, good. Cougars trying to avoid going down by double digits as a sloppy pass from Princess Gates, and she's on the court throwing elbows. Princess Gates getting her first start of the season. Boy, she is a fiery player for Coach Martin and her squad.
You like to see that out of Gates. Costly turnover, just a bad pass into a wall of, I think, 3 sets of legs. But she made up for it. She saw that ball was on the ground, so she dove right after it. She's getting physical on the ground and got the ball back for her team. So good way to make up for a mistake.
Now Alexis Desjardins in for Gates. After getting the start, took a quick breather on the bench. The pass to Allison McGregor, just off the rim, not able to finish. Allison McGregor, who's found herself in a little bit of a different role here early in the season, now coming off the bench.
And that was a good look to McGregor when the Cougars, when they drove to that side of the court, they kind of drew the low defender up because of the zone, because of the rotation of how the Crosse's defense worked, and that let McGregor get wide open.
Now another shot, Lauren Milne, and La Crosse on a 7-0 run over the last 2 minutes. Meanwhile, the Cougars yet to score a single bucket in almost 3 minutes.
They're struggling just to clear the ball, too.
Michaela Ellis, another jumper. No good. Another air ball. Rebound by Alexis Desjardins. Desjardins going to try to take this one up, and she gets it to go in between 2 defenders.
Desjardins is just so physical. I mean, if you get her under the basket, she's likely going to score that. It's just hard to disrupt her because of how strong she is, because of how physical she is. I mean, she had 2 players draping her, and she's able to just hold on to the ball and find her shot. I mean, Desjardins, I know we talk about her three-point shooting, and it is great. She's a great three-point shooter, probably the best on this Cougars team, but you cannot ignore what she can do when she gets under the rim.
Now a pair of substitutions made by Coach Martin as Malia Perry and Sydney Mitchell both enter the game. Both players, strong additions off of the bench. A 3 from Katie Wakaw, good from the wing. And La Crosse continuing to pour it on here in Geisman.
Wakaw found the open space, no Cougar slid to her, and a good response there from Malia Perry.
Malia Perry responds with a 3 of their own, much needed. Malia Perry, a player that Coach Martin's wanting her to get her confidence back, as she was a great three-point shooter last year. She's gone a little cold, but now we just have 3 after 3 raining down here inside of Geisman Gymnasium as La Crosse returns the favor with a 3 of their own.
Well, they're just getting open. Cougars are not finding these open shooters on the perimeter. I mean, if you have that opportunity, yeah, you're going to keep taking threes all day long. CUC's got to be a little quicker about picking up shooters on the perimeter, because that is why La Crosse is getting those open looks.
Now Ellis, her jumper's no good. Kind of a rare miss from Michaela Ellis, but Kaylee Meeker, the layup and a foul. This one's going to go, not exactly sure who it was on. That's going to send Meeker to the free throw line for a 3-point opportunity. They're going to assess the foul to number 55, Sydney Mitchell, who just entered the game for the Cougars as well. So La Crosse, a 17-point advantage and a turnover by the Cougars, as Desjardins trying to get that pass to Miracle Anderson just shot it over her head and out of bounds. Now La Crosse. It's 52, Annika Gustafsson. And another foul. Going to send La Crosse to the free throw line once again. And Peter, this is a team really struggled offensively. They're the 7th highest scoring team in the WIAC. They already have 26 points here in the first quarter.
Well, the Cougars aren't doing anything to really make it a struggle for La Crosse. I mean, La Crosse is getting to the rim. They're getting wide open threes. They're getting fouled and shots off of it. I mean, CC's defense is not doing really anything to challenge this La Crosse offense. And I don't care how, underperforming an offense is when they come into your gym, you have to play tough defense on everybody, whether they're scoring 50 points a game or 100 points a game. Just because La Crosse came in here with a not so stellar offensive resume, that doesn't mean that you can pull back a little bit. You got to play just as tough defense against them as you did Alverno or GLCC or Principia, whoever else they've played this year, and they're just not doing that so far. And La Crosse is reaping the benefits.
That was a nice press break by the Cougars as they get it up court to Abby Kulig, who just checked in as well for CUC. She takes it to the rim and is fouled. So now the freshman out of Carroll Stream, Illinois, going to get an opportunity at the charity stripe. Get this team some points as they trail by almost 20 here in the first quarter. Now Kulig, 2 shots underway. First one is up and good. Now the Cougars have cracked double digits, trail 28-10. Second free throw pending for Kulig. Shot is up and good as well. So 2 for 2 for Abby Kulig.
Yeah, that's what the Cougars going to need to do here in the last 2 minutes until they can get a quarter break, is just chip away, get free throws, get baskets, however you can. I mean, you're not going to close this lead greatly, but you can do a little bit of damage before we head into the second quarter.
Offensive rebound results in a made 3 from Paige Schumann. Peter, that's really been one of the stories. La Crosse is killing CUC on the offensive boards. That's part of why they're down by so many.
Well, 10 rebounds to 5 in total, and then 5 for 10 from three-point land. Those are probably 2 of the biggest stats right now for La Crosse. And, yeah, I mean, CUC's just really struggling to get anything going offensively, defensively. Like I said, you just want to get a couple more points on the board before we head to the second, just to show you can.
Malia Perry tries a 3. It hits the top rope, means the basket's not going to count. Even if it had a chance, that basket no good. So La Crosse going to go back on offense. The Cougars went away from their full court press as they're going to try a different style of defense, and a foul by Malia Perry as Lauren Milne drives straight to the basket, almost no interference, and then gets fouled by Perry on her way up.
Yeah, and that's another problem CUC's having, is staying out of foul trouble. That's going to be, I believe, our 6th foul already, 5th or 6th, as we wait for the stats and the scoreboard to update. I believe we're sitting at 5. I mean, when this team, they're scoring the basket in other ways too. They're hitting threes, they're getting to the rim, and then on top of that, you're giving them free points through fouls. That's the last thing you want to be doing. I mean, they can be having a good offensive game, but if you can at least say, hey, we're playing disciplined, we're not giving them any free throws, that's at least a positive to build on. But Cougars, they're playing dirty, and there's another example.
Bad turnover by Miracle Anderson results in the Schumann layup. And another turnover. Another turnover. A nice defensive play by Milne. La Crosse trying to tack on to their lead. The shot no good by Knupp. Rebound pulled in. Michaela Ellis, and a quick whistle and a foul. I believe Knupp stuck that elbow out there. Called that the chicken wing. Got a piece of Ellis. Now Ellis to inbound for CUC. 34 and some change remaining on the play clock. 30 seconds left on the shot clock. Mitchell going to take it up the court for the maroon and gold.
CUC should just hold on here. Try to waste as much clock as you can. You don't want to give UW La Crosse any more chances to score here.
Move by Mitchell. Mitchell's going to take it. Not able to finish. Gets her own miss. Kicks it back out to Ellis. Now Ellis is going to try to drive in, and she'll get the layup.
Tough layup there through contact. The only negative is now La Crosse has a chance to get even more points, but if you're able to get a bucket, which has been hard to come by in the first quarter, you'll take it no matter what. Oh, my goodness.
Buzzer beater by Madison Kilbotton. Got Malia Perry jumping on the pump fake. Sidestepped and got a 3 to close out the first quarter. The Cougars trailing the Eagles 38-13. As we're getting ready to head to the second quarter, you're listening to the Cougar Sports Network. We're back here inside of Geisman Gymnasium for the start of the second quarter. An offensive explosion by Wisconsin La Crosse. They lead the Cougars 38-13. Last shot came from Madison Kilbotton, who got the buzzer beater three-pointer. Peter, sloppy first quarter by Cougars, to put it lightly. What were your takeaways from that first quarter?
Well, I mean, the main one, and it was kind of the opposite of what we saw against Alverno, is the Cougars' turnover battle is not going so hot. They've had 7 turnovers to La Crosse's 1 in La Crosse. They've scored 11 points off those 7 turnovers. I mean, that's just about converting on every turnover you can. So this was kind of what we saw with CUC against Alverno in favor of the Cougars. They were just causing turnovers left, right, and center. Now La Crosse is doing that to CUC, and they're not found a response yet.
Now La Crosse starting out on offense to kick off the second quarter. A three is good. Madison Kilbotton once again. And, oh my, I cannot believe what I'm witnessing right now. 41 points.
Yeah, it doesn't help that they're shooting 6 for 11 from beyond the arc. And, I mean, coming into today, they were shooting 28% from 3, 29% if you round up. And they're shooting 58 right now. And, I mean, that's just a tough break for the Cougars. You have a team who's struggling to shoot the 3 ball. They come in, have their best shooting performance of the year likely without, really looking in depth at the other box scores. Yeah, I mean, there's just not much you can do about that. You can play good defense, but sometimes teams just shoot the ball well. They just get hot on the right day, and La Crosse is hot right now.
And now Malia Perry's going to try a 3, and that's good. Malia Perry has made an impact coming off the bench. 2 3-pointers for her, 1 in the first and her second here in the second quarter. Malia Perry. Now La Crosse. It's Kilbotton in the corner. La Crosse has done a nice job of getting that ball swung around. Foul on to Zuri Wiggum. She got a piece. Paige Schumann.
That ball movement really something to pay attention to. Good, like you said, Parker, they're doing a really good job of spinning the rock, and they're just catching the Cougars' rotation slightly off, so they eventually spin the rock to one player who's open just like that. And usually, just like that, UW La Crosse capitalizes.
Kaylee Meeker. She's the leading scorer this season for the Eagles, averaging almost 15 points a game. Meeker right now with 8. Now Malia Perry, a wild layup, no good. Rebound pulled in by the Eagles. That's Kilbotton.
Could have hit Kulig on that. Malia Perry's drive drew Kulig's defender in from the weak side of the court. If you're able to hit Kulig on that drive rather than that's a pretty tough shot. You're moving right to left, and you're trying to hit the basket while moving parallel to it. Kulig was open on that because you're able to draw the defender. So that's something the Cougars have really struggled in, is getting just that one more look. They get shots, but there's a better shot usually just a pass away.
Leela Scott's three-pointer, no good. Rebound tempted to pull in. That was Kulig, but just falls out of bounds after trying to corral it. Just struggled to maintain her balance. So now La Crosse up big, 44-16. Taking it up the court is Schumann. Cougars in that man defense. We saw them go to a 2-3 on Wednesday versus Alverno College. Have not converted to a 2-3 quite yet. Eagles doing a nice job with the ball rotation. We've been talking about that. Schumann. Three-pointer from Kilbotton, air ball, rebound by Michaela Ellis. Dishes it up to Perry. Now Wiggum analyzing the defense. Being guarded by Schumann. Handoff to Ellis. Ellis driving in. The physicality and the power, Michaela Ellis gets the layup to go.
Yeah, just gathers her dribble, sidesteps the defender legally, of course, and great move there from Michaela Ellis. Like I said earlier, when she gets in the paint, that's money for number 4 in gold. She's going to the bank every time and cashing out. But just great move there by Ellis. She's got a great jumper. She's got a great move, a couple feet from the basket. She's good under the basket. I mean, again, once she gets in that paint, it's basically game over for the defense.
Abby Kulig up top. off the front of the rim, gets her miss. Gets it back out, Missouri Wiggum. Now Perry inside the three-point line, and it's good. Malia Perry has contributed some very valuable minutes for the Cougars coming off the bench.
Yeah, Perry has looked really, really nice. 6 points so far on the night, 2 for 4 from the field, 2 for 3 from 3 in just 7 minutes. And if the Cougars, I mean, they're down by 24, but we haven't even hit halftime yet. We're not even halfway through the second quarter yet. A comeback is by no means out of question right now. They're going to need more performances like Malia Perry to make it happen.
But the jumper, Lauren Milne, is good. We talked about her in the pregame as well, averaging almost 11 points per game, averaging 7 rebounds per game. Arguably one of the better two-way players for the Eagles this season, is just continuing to apply that pressure on Concordia. However, ball last touched by the Eagles, so Cougars going to stay on offense. As we have an on-court discussion.
Look at the shot clock.
Shot clock fixing that. Never started, still at 30 seconds, so we're going to put 24 seconds on the shot clock. Now Missouri Wiggum. It looks like the Eagles are coming out in a 2-3 zone, trying to take away those jumpers by Malia Perry, but what do you know, Michaela Ellis hits from the free throw line. Cougars trying to chip away at this lead.
Just take what I said about 2 minutes ago and repeat it right there. Once she gets to the paint, nothing but gold.
It seems like every time the Cougars try to string together something, Lacrosse returns with the favor. Wiggum, wild miss, offensive rebound by Kulig. She puts it back up for 2.
I think we just saw the rare shast there, the shot pass off the glass right into Kulig's hands. We'll count it as a pass.
Hey, if it works, it works. Leela Scott, the defender. Eagles slowing down this drive a little bit as Knupp at the top of the key gets it back to Milne. And now Gustafson, rebound pulled in by Kulig. Gets it to Michaela Ellis. Now back to Wiggum. Wiggum taking it up the court.
Chance here for the Cougars to get some points. You get a rare defensive stop. Now let's string some together.
Leela Scott, a quick miss. She was ready to fire, had her hands ready, feet set, just not able to get it through the bottom of the net. Now a lapse in defense, gets it to Milne on the block. Kulig comes over for help.
Good cover by Kulig to jump into the paint. Shut down Milne.
Now the floater spent some time up there on the rim, but eventually falls through for Kaylee Meeker. Now Missouri Wiggum, quick in transition. She's going to take on Gustafson and one! Missouri Wiggum went up against Annika Gustafson, who is one of the bigger players on this lacrosse team, standing at 6 foot. Missouri Wiggum took her head on and got the fall through. Now a three-point opportunity for the senior.
Well, I was going to say that Missouri Wiggum had a shooter wide open in the far side corner to hit on that drive, but if she wants to take it in, draw contact, score a basket, and now get a chance for a three-point play, I'm not going to disagree with her decision-making there.
I don't think any Cougar fans are going to disagree about that at all, but Wiggum not able to get the free throw, almost got the foul called on her as Knupp went up for the layup. Looked like Missouri Wiggum brought her hand down, so close call there. Last touch by the Cougars, so Lacrosse to inbound. Now up top, that's Wakaw. 3, no good. Rebound pulled in by Kulig.
UW's slowing down a little bit here offensively, not scoring as often. And if you're the Cougars, you got to take full advantage of that. It's time to start stringing some baskets together because you get a chance with the team who's extremely hot offensively. They are cooling off right now. Now is the time to strike offensively. Get some points back.
Foul called on Grace Knupp. She elbowed Michaela Ellis, but now quick in transition. Nice defensive play by Malia Perry. Looked like a cornerback intercepting that pass. And another foul called on Wisconsin Lacrosse. So Cougars trying to generate some momentum as Lacrosse has cooled down just a little bit. Still applying that full court press. Missouri Wiggum driving in. She's going to try to take it coast to coast. Gets it to Kulig last second. Back out to Ellis. Ellis taking her time. She decides to pull a three off the back iron. No good. Rebound pulled in by Schumann. Gets it up court to Wakaw. And now Schumann a three. No good. Rebound by Perry.
I think Eagles are getting a little overzealous. They're usually just chucking up threes now rather than looking for a good three. That's what led to them having success earlier in this match. Now they're just kind of first shot they see, they're going to take it. If you're head coach Lonnie, you might want to settle your team down here and say, hey, let's still look for those good looks rather than just rely on how hot our shooting is.
On the floor foul. It's going to go against Katie Wakaw. Looks like she pushed Michaela Ellis in the paint. Got a piece of her on the back. So Ellis is going to inbound for Concordia. To inbound, gets it into Wiggum. Now back to Ellis in the paint. Eagles still in that 2-3 zone. Jumper from Ellis is no good. A rarity from her.
Yeah, but that was a tough angle. You really don't. You have the backboard, and she does like using that backboard a lot. Not that that's a dig, but when you're shooting at an angle where you can't really rely on the backboard for a good bounce, yeah, that's just a tough shot there. I don't think there's a lot of players out there who would regularly make that. And now I think she's dealing with a little discomfort. You see her right arm. She'll check out. Right arm covered in tape, essentially, besides the elbow. And now she's going to go see the trainer. So hopefully nothing too serious going on with Michaela Ellis, and at least can see her in the second half. Maybe she needs to take the rest of this first half off and recompose herself.
Free throw attempt from Schumann is no good. Michaela Ellis has been dealing with, looks like an elbow injury for the early going of the season. Schumann 0 for 2 at the line. Cougars catch a break. Trying to break the pass. Missouri Wiggum dribbled off of her foot. A great defensive play by a pair of Eagles. So now Eagles going to try to get going on offense. 3 minutes remaining here in the second quarter. That's Schumann. Gets it to Knuth. Haven't called her name in a little bit. Trying to drive in. I don't even think Missouri Wiggum was trying to get the steal. Just a mishap by Kilbotton. Desjardins gets it to Malia Perry, who she will not hesitate to pull it. She's trying to get Knuth up in the air. Desjardins thought about it as well. That would have been a deep three. She decides to throw up a shot, a wild shot at that. No good. Rebound pulled in by Schumann.
UW La Crosse has numbers. Desjardins trailing the play. You got a wide open player in the corner. She'll just take it herself, and oh my goodness, what a move there.
Kaylee Meeker gets the bucket. La Crosse hadn't scored a single shot in over 2 minutes, so kind of breaks their little scoring drought. I thought they might have called a travel. Looks like she might have taken one too many steps, but still gets the bucket. And free throw, however, no good. So 52-26 lead for Wisconsin La Crosse. They have doubled the Cougars' scoring. Abby Kulig to inbound. Cougars going with a little bit of a bigger lineup with Kulig and McGregor both out on the court. Kulig listed at 5'11". McGregor, the lone 6-foot player on the roster. Nice underhand layup from Missouri Wiggum.
Yeah, great move. Just right under the basket. Uses her speed. And, yeah, I mean, that's not a tough shot. Underhand. Not a lot of control over it, but she's able to place it well.
Rebound pulled in by Meeker. And now Schumann, nice move, goes up against Kulig and gets the layup to drop.
Yeah, a little bit of a pump to get Missouri Wiggum off balance and put the ball on the ground. Wingham's momentum was carrying her through the three-point line, so all Schumann had to do is start dribbling, drive to the rim, and then a good finish off the glass.
Princess Gates the miss on the other end. That's going to be returned with a Kilbotton miss from three-point land. So Malia Perry gets it into Wiggum. Eagles have not gone away from the full court press quite yet. Now Gates in the corner gets it back up top to Wiggum. Perry for three from the wing. Good. Malia Perry, her third three-pointer of the afternoon. Now Malia Perry, the leading scorer with 11.
Yeah, she's looked great from three-point land. Her stroke looks smooth. And what a steal there from Abby Kulik. She says, it's a grown woman's game. Give me that ball. And now Cougars go the other way.
Princess Gates miss. Rebound pulled in by McGregor. She misses it as well. Cougars really could have used some points there. Lacrosse trying to slow things down.
And can hold on. They got about 11 seconds difference between the shot clock and the game clock, so can hold on till roughly the last shot. The Cougars would have to hurry with 11 seconds to go. I think they're just going to hold on here and put up a three.
Meeker just wasting time.
Nope, no good.
Shot clock violation on Lacrosse. So the Cougars with an opportunity for the last shot of the first half. 10.3 remaining. They're just going to have to get down the court in a hurry, something they've struggled to do here in the first half.
I'm not sure what the refs are going to be talking about. I think they're talking about did she release it before or after the shot clock, but I think they're also putting a little bit more time left on the game clock. So it reads 10.3 right now. It's going to be 10.8, so the Cougars get half a second back. But best case scenario for CUC right now is, of course, a three-pointer that'll bring you within 20, and obviously being down 20 at half isn't great, but it's better than being down 23 at half. And it would show that, end of half with the made three, a little confidence booster.
Malia Perry, the last shot, no good.
We got a tip on it. Good defense there from Eagles. Closest referee to us signaling that an Eagle hand did get a piece of the ball. That was good defense here at the end of the court, at the end of the half for UW Lacrosse.
So now Cougars going to go into halftime trailing by 23, 54-31. Looking at the box score, the leading scorer for Lacrosse, Lauren Milne with 15, and Kaylee Meeker right behind her with 14. And for the Cougars, it's Malia Perry with 11, who came off of the bench and provided a spark. She's 4 of 7 from the field and 3 of 5 from three-point land. But we're going to go ahead and send it to halftime. We'll be back for more action on the Cougar Sports Network.
Concordia University Chicago is a Christ-centered Lutheran university where truth, freedom, and vocation form students for lives of influence and service for the common good. Our university offers a wide variety of undergraduate and graduate degree options that are available in person and online. That means we have a program designed for you. Whether you're a high school student, an adult returning to complete your degree, or someone looking to enhance your credentials and prepare for career growth. As a member of this university community, you'll also find support in your spiritual and personal life so you can grow in the faith and discover ways to serve others. To start your next journey with us, Visit cuchicago.edu today.
Hey Cougar fans, thanks for tuning in to today's game.
For more information on the women's basketball program, head to cucougars.com.
We hope to see you at our next game.
CUC nursing student and choose to stand tall for healing at a university that places Christ at the center and embraces teaching students to live a life fulfilled by purpose and meaning. Concordia University Chicago's new Bachelor of Science in Nursing degree is an innovative and rigorous 4-year program that will prepare you to rise to the daily challenges of a rewarding nursing career and serve a greater cause. Our newly built modern simulation center features 4 distinct spaces: a skills attainment lab, multi-specialty intensive care spaces, a health assessment learning center, and a simulated home environment. Due to our close proximity to many world-class teaching hospitals, CUC's clinical rotations offer an abundance of diverse and real-world experiences. Learn more about earning your BSN at a Christ-centered university today.
It looks like the Golden State Warriors.
I'm Monica here at Concordia University Chicago, and we're here outside of Concordia Hall. Concordia Hall is the university's newest residence hall, right on the edge of campus, perfect for students who want to explore the nearby downtown of Oak Park and River Forest. The flexible suite-style living in fully furnished bedrooms lets students choose what works best for them. Every floor is complete with a community lounge and full common kitchen, with a kitchenette, microwave, sink, and refrigerator. The first floor offers the Victory Lounge, connecting to 2 additional residence halls, with no shortage of ways to relax. You're also right next to an open, outdoor plaza, better known as Victory Lane.
So now we're here in Concordia Hall's suite-style dorm room, and this is a really nice place to just hang out and chill. And since it's so big, there's plenty of room to spread out and do your homework and just relax. So now making our way into one of the bedrooms, there's plenty of space in this room for you and your roommate. A lot of times students will move the desks so that they've got their separate study space, but my roommate and I, we get along really well, so we can just work together here in the same space. Sometimes I like doing art as well, as you can see by the painting here. It's a 16 by 10 feet space, and most rooms on campus are 10 by 12 feet. So it's really nice to have a little extra space to work with here in Concordia Hall. So this hall is super close to the chapel and the Kennecke Community Center, which has the new Crossroads Dining Hall. So the location is super convenient. And I really love the city scene too. The location here is the closest on campus to the Oak Park River Forest downtown area, which has a ton of great stores and restaurants. Speaking of the city scene, I adore the view from this lounge because you can see the Chicago skyline right there.
Concordia Hall at Concordia University Chicago.
We're here inside of Geisman Gymnasium. Here's the halftime report. The Eagles leading the Cougars 54-31. And Peter, what started off as a very slow start for the Cougars started to pick up a little bit of steam there in the second with Malia Perry, 11 points. But really, the Eagles just out-muscled the Cougars in that first half.
Yeah, I mean, the offense definitely got better for CUC, as Parker mentioned. Malia Perry, she's having a fantastic game, especially from behind the arc. Cougars are getting a little bit more physical. They're driving a little bit more. Missouri Wingham, she's had a good couple of layoffs. Michaela Ellis, of course, once she gets in that paint, she's going to score that bucket no matter what. But it's really been the defense that's been lacking for the Cougars. I mean, there's a reason that UW La Crosse has 54 points up on the board already, and it's because the Cougars defense is just a little slow. UW La Crosse, credit them a lot. They are finding those open looks on offense, and they are capitalizing on it. They are executing well, and they're using their spacing, their passing, whatever it takes to get that open shot. DC's defense just not being able to keep up.
The Eagles have needed a good performance, as I mentioned in the pregame, on a 2-game losing skid. They also are averaging under 70 points per game, and that's good for 7th in the WEAC. But in that first half, you would not have been able to tell that they were the 7th highest-scoring team in their conference.
No, they're scoring through every means possible. Layup to the rim, three-pointers, some jumpers in there. I mean, they're doing a little bit of all. The rebounding has been especially good for them. And the turnover battle, they're winning that, of course. They're also winning the points over turnover. They have that at a good ratio. I mean, this is just a UW La Crosse team who you could not tell as they have not played in a couple weeks. They look so clean. They look so efficient. Everything they're doing, they are doing at a high level. And CUC is just, a little bit off in certain categories, and that's why we see such a big margin in the score.
Now let's go ahead and talk about the Cougars a little bit. Malia Perry has come off of the bench, provided 11 points, talked about that a little bit. She's a player that I was talking to Coach Martin earlier this week, a player that's needed to get her confidence back, and she surely did that in the first half.
Yeah, Perry looks much smoother today than I think we've seen her at all here in Geisman. Her three-point shooting stroke, obviously it's showing up in the scoreboard and the scorebook, but it just looks really clean. She's one of those players that you can just tell by the way they're shooting, the way they're moving, that they are kind of in it mentally. And Malia Perry, she's looked out of it the last couple times we've seen her here at CUC. Today she looks in it. She looks smooth, and she's a big reason that the Cougars are, this is not a bigger deficit. She's having a really good game, kind of dragging the Cougars to that breaking point of it could still be a comeback. It's still in the cards. It is by no means impossible, and a large part of that is thanks to Malia Perry and her excellent game so far.
Not going to rule out a comeback, but last thing, Peter, what are the Cougars going to need to do to provide that comeback?
Well, like I said, the offense looked a lot better in that second quarter. It's all about the defense, though. As good as that offense looked, this defense is still hemorrhaging points. The UW La Crosse is having no problems finding open threes, open lanes to the basket, getting rebounds. Cougars need to show a little bit more speed on defense. They are having problem picking up shooters. That's why UW La Crosse is just raining it down from three-point land. They need to be a little bit more physical to grab those rebounds. A lot of second chance opportunities for UW La Crosse. That's going to lead to points more often than not. CUC covers those two bases, being a little bit quicker, being a little bit more ferocious on the boards. They should be able to turn this around defensively and hopefully chip away at this lead.
Second half is less than a minute away. Peter and I will continue to be on the call with you, see how things play out here in the second half. We're back here inside of Geisman Gymnasium for the start of the second half as the Cougars trailing the Eagles 54-31 here inside of Geisman Gymnasium. The Cougars played a lot better in that second half, outscoring the Eagles 18-16, but so far has not been enough to overcome the deficit as the Cougars continue to try to build on the things they've done well, and that's a good start. Missouri Wingham the three from the top of the key.
No better way to start a half than a three-pointer less than 20 seconds in. And Cougars, they're going to need a couple more of those, down by 20 here, but I'm really interested to see how this defense looks in the second half. They needed some big adjustments during that halftime break. Let's see if Coach Martin and the rest of her staff made them.
And now Crosse trying to return the favor. No. Rebound pulled in by Michaela Ellis. A nice way to start the third quarter for the Cougars. Again, you mentioned down by 20. Going to need to string together some points, and a quick foul called on Lauren Milne.
Well, the other thing that is key to note about UW La Crosse is their three-point percentage has dropped since we last checked in. And I think the last time we mentioned it, they were shooting right around 60%. They're down to 42 now, and as good defense as you can play, not saying the Cougars have been playing amazing defense, it definitely needs some improvements in the second half, but shooting 60% from three is absolutely ridiculous and is kind of unsustainable, and now we're seeing that number drop back down to around 40, which is a little bit more manageable for the Cougars, still kind of high. Hopefully that is kind of a sign of things to come, that the Eagles, they were just shooting lights out in that first half. Hopefully that was just a blip for CUC.
And an empty possession for the Cougars. So now the Eagles are going to go back to work on offense. That's Milne. She's going to try to drive it, dumps it off to Schumann. That shot no good, but now it's Knuth. Her shot no good. Another offensive board pulled in by Milne. Milne's going to take this back out. And now Schumann, the jumper, off the front iron. No.
Cougars got to get a board here.
Have to get an offensive board. That is what's been killing them so far in the game. You cannot allow the opposition to get 3 offensive rebounds in one possession. The Eagles staying on offense as Milne set to inbound. Gets it into Schumann.
3 missed shots in a row is rare for the Eagles this game, where they're shooting above 50% from the field, and they're not going to go 0 for 4 as we see right there. But when they miss a basket, which again, we haven't seen a ton of tonight, you got to grab that board. You got to be able to convert.
And a charge goes against Missouri Wiggnam. Taking the charge was Lindsey Knuth and Peter. Cougars have been trying to continually chip away at this lead, and they've been doing a solid job at that. But when you give up 3 offensive rebounds to the Eagles in one possession, completely negates what you've been doing so far.
Also kills time off the clock. I mean, that's a reset shot clock, assuming they hit the rim. Eagles can just keep winding this clock down, and eventually, the Cougars are already kind of up against the clock, down by 22. And if UW can keep high possession time.
Leela Scott, a 3. The Cougars are now within 20. They trail by 19.
They're going to need some more threes. 2s are great, but when you're also struggling to play defense, you need 3s to make up those points quickly. So they're going to need a little bit more shooting, like we saw from Scott, like we saw from Wingham to start this half off.
The Cougars have trailed the entire game. They're trying to accomplish this comeback, but that's not going to help, as a foul called on Abby Kulig. That's going to send Kaylee Meeker to the free throw line.
Good choice there by Meeker. She had 2 sets of hands above her when she was going to the rim, so just go up for the shot. One of those 4 hands is likely to hit you on the way up. You're going to draw that foul. Meeker does exactly that. Tough layup, but she's able to make it into 2 free throws, convert on 1, and can't convert on the second.
Now Michaela Ellis pulls down the rebound. La Crosse has not reverted from that full court press. And Abby Kulig tries to take it up, but knocked out of bounds by Kaylee Meeker. So possession going to stay with the Cougars. Also checking in for CUC, Malia Perry, who was the star of the show for the Cougars offense in that first half.
Yeah, they're going to need some more 3-pointers from her to get back in this one quick. We see her set up in the corner.
I think the play was designed to get it to her. But
yeah, Scott was throwing up a screen for her to get an open 3. Wingham just didn't hit her.
Eagles still in that 2-3 zone as well. Missouri Wiggham attacks the basket, but off the front of the rim, and Cougars also several missed layups. That definitely will not help when you're trying to come back.
That was a good-looking choice there by Wingham. Some nice footwork to get a decent shot. Just can't convert on it.
And a foul called believe that was a block. So now checking in for the Eagles, Madison Kilbottom. It's inbound for UWL, number 10, Lauren Milne. Cougars still in man-to-man. Going up is Kilbottom, and she gets around Malia Perry and gets the layup.
Good layup there. Just sidesteps around the defender, lays it in. Now Cougars got to worry about that double team. That's what UW La Crosse has been doing on the double team. They usually come up from behind. Oh, big block.
Huge block by Milne as completely swatted that layup attempt from Missouri Wiggum.
And kept it from going out. There's some bonus points. Bonus star on the chart.
And a three is good. Kaylee Meeker from the wing. Eagles leading the Cougars 62-37. Just total domination up to this point. Now Perry in the corner. A three is good. Malia Perry. That's now 14 for the senior from Plainfield.
Beautiful play there. Missouri Wingham driving hard to the paint. She's been doing that all day, so Eagles stack up the wall under the basket. That leaves a wide open corner shot for Perry. And Wingham, little drive and kick out. One of the defining plays of, this kind of modern age of basketball, and Wingham converts on it.
Malia Perry has been so good for the Cougars coming off the bench. Fortunately, she has not had much help. She's 5 of 8 from the field, 4 of 6 for 3. A player that is stroking it this afternoon. Now a good defensive possession by Leela Scott, but ends up in the hands of Kilbottom. Now La Crosse. A shot attempt from Nupp, no good. Offensive board pulled in. And now another made basket, Lindsay Knuth. Malia Perry, pump fake, drives in, foul.
Yeah, and that's what you could start doing now if you are Perry. UW La Crosse has to know that she's been lights out from beyond the arc today, shooting 4 for 6. So they're going to start driving a little bit harder on those closeouts like we saw right there. Their momentum is going to keep carrying them. That's when, if you're Perry, you put the ball on the ground and drive to the rim. So great choice there by Perry. The mere thought of her shooting a three is now a threat, and that means that those closeouts are going to be a little bit tougher, a little bit harder. That momentum is going to be a little bit greater, and that means Perry has more opportunities to put the ball down and drive to the rim.
Malia Perry connected on her first free throw, her second up and good. Malia Perry now with 16 points as she 2 for 2 from the line today. That was her first trip to the line after getting fouled. So now La Crosse up by 22. This is Gustafson in the paint, and Gustafson gets her first points of the afternoon.
Everyone is scoring for UW La Crosse. Milne, obviously the best with 15. Meeker, she's got 18, having a great game as well. But, they're just spreading the love. There's not one player who's not having a good day offensively for UW.
Now Michaela Ellis hands off to Leela Scott. Ellis working. Floater, no. Rebound pulled in by McGregor. Jump ball. I believe this is what's going to be called the possession arrow favoring CUC. So Malia Perry to inbound for the maroon and gold, and a timeout called. This is called by Ron Lawning and the Eagles. 30-second timeout. We'll take a quick break in the action. Cougars down 66-42. You're listening to the Cougar Sports Network.
Cougar Nation, we love the support you give us on and off the court. To donate to our athletic communications department, hit the thank button.
This helps us to continue to have the best live stream possible for some great Cougar basketball moments.
Thank you and enjoy the game.
Cougars set to inbound. As the pass into Malia Perry. She's going to try another three. Hits the front of the rim. Goes straight down. Now Wiggum at the top. Gets it back to Perry. Perry's going to try another one. Hit about the same spot as her previous shot. And a foul called on Crosse. That's going to go against Annika Gustafsson. So that's her second foul. Fourth foul for Crosse here in the quarter. So Cougars not quite in the bonus yet. Inbound pass into Scott. Wiggum now dribbling at the top. Analyzing the defense. Eagles look like they're in the 1-3-1 now. So Wiggum's going to try a three. In and out. Eagles bringing it up the court. That was Schumann. Gets it to Kabatin. Now a three attempt from Wakaw. No good. Rebound pulled in by Scott. Now Ellis drives to the basket, and a tough basket for Michaela Ellis.
Oh, Razmataz. Nice moves there. Just sidestep. Let me step through this defense right here.
Kilbotton's three off the back iron. No. But a foul called, and looks like they're going to get Gustafsson again, so that's her third now. Looks like Coach Lonning going to keep her out there. But now the Cougars in the bonus as Miracle Anderson checks in for Leela Scott. So McGregor going to get a chance at the free throw line.
Well, now let's see. She's in the bonus. A chance here. As Gustafsson will be coming out. But in the bonus, a chance here. Start drawing some fouls, drawing some contact, and chipping away at this lead.
And McGregor connects on her first free throw on the season. Allison McGregor shooting 56% from the free throw line, so not necessarily the best percentage. She goes 1 for 2. Cougars still down by 21. Bringing it up the court, Paige Schumann gets it over to Katie Wakaw on the wing. And a foul goes against Crosse. As that was number 2, Sydney Torgerson. Cougars going to get another crack on offense. Malia Perry to inbound for the Cougars. Eagles still in that tough full court press. Miracle Anderson gets it up the court to Malia Perry. Malia Perry, no. Abby Cooley gets her miss and one. Abby Cooley.
And that's all because of speed. Miracle Anderson hitting a streaking Malia Perry. Anderson, we've talked about it, for a freshman, her court vision is just so standout. Able to hit Malia Perry in stride. And then, Perry misses the shot, but Abby Kulig is there with the Windex, clean up the board, clean up the miss, get a point, and now she has a chance to tack on another one.
Abby Kulig a chance at a three-point play. Yes. Cougars now down by 18. So the comeback, still not ruling out the comeback. Shot clock did not start again, so they're going to reset it to 26. Lauren Milne to inbound. Tries to get it into Schumann, but nice job by Wiggum taking that away. Into Kaylee Meeker. She's going up against Allison McGregor. A fortunate miss by Meeker. Scrap for the ball. And a jump ball called. So possession arrow favors Crosse. Cougars had an opportunity. Malia Perry just wasn't able to catch it clean the first time.
Yeah, they have a chance. They had a chance to cut this down to 16-15, the deficit, that is. And I think that's kind of the goal by the end of this third quarter is, all right, let's get this within 15, because 15 is much, much more manageable heading into the final 10 minutes of a game. And they were close. I mean, they're only down by 18 now. We've seen them down by nearly 30 at multiple points, so they're kind of pulling it together. They just need to get within striking range by the time the fourth quarter starts.
Cougars trying to apply some defensive pressure. Now Schumann a three. No. Rebound pulled in once again by the Eagles. That time it was Grace Knupp. Now Schumann, pump fake, gets it over to Knuth. Take it away. This is Miracle Anderson.
Good hands by Kulig. That's what popped the ball up, and then Anderson right there to get the turnover.
Now Abby Kulig gets it back to Anderson. Anderson's been getting some more minutes as the season progresses.
CUC needs to go to the rim. They're just moving it in the same area of the perimeter.
And now that'll help. Floater from Missouri Wiggum. Cougars chipping away at this lead.
This little shot put there from Wingham.
And Lauren Milne returns the favor with a jumper of her own. Really making the Cougars
They got to get rid
it.
of it. Oh, and that's going to burn a timeout.
Miracle Anderson.
Good man coverage there by Eagles. And Anderson, again, we've said it, she's a great passer for CUC, great vision. You know when she can't find someone open, that's just good coverage there by UW Lacrosse.
So this is going to be a full timeout. We're going to go ahead and keep it here as the Cougars trailing 68-50. Peter, this has been a much cleaner quarter for the Cougars. The Cougars have won the last two quarters, outscoring the Eagles 18-16 in that second quarter, and now here in the third, 19-14. What's been going right for them so far?
Their offense is a bit more consistent. I mean, if you look in that first quarter, which is really what's killing them right now. I mean, they shot 34% from the field, 25 from three, and since then, quarter two, still sat. In the first half, they shot 34% as a whole in the first quarter, is what we want to look at. I mean, they were shooting 28%, so they're just playing more consistent offense. They're getting buckets at a more regular pace rather than going on long scoring droughts. And they've done what they needed to do in the last two quarters. Little less than two quarters. It's just that first quarter was so disastrous for CUC. That's really what's killing them right now. If they can pull back within 15, they're going to have a chance here.
Not the best inbound pass from Michaela Ellis, as that's taken away immediately by the Eagles. Good defense by Miracle Anderson, however, able to clean up the miss is Lindsay Knuth. Anderson showing off the moves, a little speed. Now Perry, a quick two-point jumper. The rebound pulled in and secured by Milne. Gets it up the court to Meeker. Meeker working on Anderson. And now Knupp. Turn around. That's good by Lauren Milne. Now Eagles back up by 20. Missouri Wiggum gets it back to Michaela Ellis. Leah Perry was calling for it, but then decided not to. Miracle Anderson going up against Schumann. Miracle Anderson, very physical. Missed her layup, but then trying to get the rebound back from Milne, but ends up fouling her in the process.
I believe they called jump ball, actually, so CEC will maintain possession here. So good job by Anderson to just tie up after that miss. Get her possession back for her team, and CEC, if they can pull back within 20 in the last 16.4 here, well, of course, the turnover not going to help anything.
That was a very high IQ play by the freshman Miracle Anderson. Now a little bit of a tie-up, so possession going to go right back to the Cougars, but Anderson has been a player that's getting a lot more minutes. Again, we mentioned her great court vision and high basketball IQ. Now 4 seconds left. Michaela Ellis, she'll try a three. No! The Cougars outscoring the Eagles in that third quarter, 19-18. However, find themselves down by 22 heading into the fourth quarter. We'll be back for the final quarter of action here on the Cougar Sports Network.
Fans, thanks for tuning into today's game.
For more information on the women's basketball program, head to cucougars.com. We hope to see you at our next game.
Back here inside of Geisman Gymnasium, the final quarter of action between these two teams. A fresh 10 put on the game clock. Cougars down 72-50 to the Eagles. Still lots of time left.
Yeah, but it all starts on this first possession. If the Eagles are able to get anything, it shows it's just going to be business as usual for the team in maroon.
That shot put up by Knuth, no. Rebound pulled in by Missouri Wiggum. See what the Cougars can do on offense. Now Michaela Ellis. Nice dribbling. Gets it up to Malia Perry. It was a dangerous pass at first. Now Wiggum driving in. She's swarmed by 3 Eagles, but a foul called. This is going to go against number 23, Grace Knupp. So Cougars staying on offense as Leela Scott to inbound. Need to get something going. You only have 5 seconds to inbound the pass. Cougars get it in. Wiggum now back to Scott. Quick to move the ball. Malia Perry a 3 from the wing. No. Tracking down the rebound, or attempting to track down the rebound, was Scott. So now the Eagles going to go right back on offense. Milne to inbound, and Schumann also on the other end as Sydney Mitchell checks in for Michaela Ellis, who is still having a little discomfort in that right elbow. Schumann quickly advances down the court, and a nice layup from Kaylee Meeker as Schumann with the pass.
Great cut there by Meeker. Schumann, the bounce pass right into her hands. And that's just beautiful play there.
And Schumann with the steal takes it herself. Not a good sequence of events to start out the quarter.
No, CUC, they got to take care of the ball in these last 8:45 if they want to do anything to make this score more respectable.
And now another sloppy turnover. This time it is Knupp who takes it herself, and a timeout called from Coach Lauren Martin, and this is going to be full. And Peter, she doesn't look happy.
No, I mean, you come in, you're down by around 20, you're down by 22 entering the last 10 minutes of play, and if you want to have any chance at a comeback, you got to come out in that fourth quarter and just play lights out. You got to put up points early. You got to have standout defense if you want any chance of getting back in the game. And instead, the Cougars come out, 3 straight turnovers, 3 straight buckets for the Crosse, builds that lead up to 28. That's just sloppy play from CUC. That's not even La Crosse playing great basketball. That's just CUC playing mistake-ridden basketball. And La Crosse, they're a good enough team to capitalize on those mistakes every single time.
And if you're looking inside the box score, fourth quarter started less than a minute and a half ago. And to start out the quarter, Wisconsin La Crosse on a 6-0 run as they're 3 of their last 3 from the field.
But none of those were 3 hard shots. They were 3 layups essentially. So, or 2 layups, and I mean you had that Meeker play that was just a super nice pass, bounce pass from Schumann. But these are not hard shots, and that's been the story of the game for the UW La Crosse is they are finding easy shots, and they are playing good enough to capitalize on, 53% from the field. So they're capitalizing on over half their shots, and that's because they're getting good shots. They're getting high percentage shots.
And And a foul. This is going to go against Lauren Milne. And going back to that point, the Cougars basically just shot themselves in the foot to start out the fourth quarter. Wasn't anything particularly well on Lacrosse's part, but still.
No, I mean, a comeback was possible at the start of the fourth. It'd be tough, of course, but it was there. It was alive, and like you said, Parker, the Cougars might just shot themselves in the foot at that beginning.
The Perry missed the three-point attempt. Rebound pulled in by Milne. Now Milne's just going to take it herself, and now as quick as it takes to blink, the Eagles are up by 30 once again.
Milne just so shifty. Like I said in the pregame show, now there's a costly turnover on UW's part, but like I said in the pregame show, Milne's not your typical big. She's 5'10", but she's so shifty. We saw there some nice moves with the ball, some nice footwork, and she's at the rim in a blink of an eye. And, yeah, like you said, Parker, they're up by 30 when this was a 22-point lead not just about 2.5 minutes ago.
And now Missouri Wiggum, that pass goes right off of Kulig's hands. The layup attempt from Mitchell, no, but she gets her own miss. Now Kulig's going to try. No, rebound pulled in by Knuth. Cougars just could not buy a bucket on that offensive possession. Now corner three from Meeker, no. Rebound pulled in by Wiggum. She has a chance to push it, but looks like she's going to try to take it herself. She gets the layup against Paige Schumann.
Yeah, Missouri Wingham, besides having 3 fouls, which is a little troublesome, I mean, she's at 13 points. She's having a fantastic game, 5 for 10 from the field. Looks good going to the rim. And, again, Cougars hurting without Kalia Reed, one of their leading scorers, who's dealing with an injury. But Missouri Wingham and Malia Perry both playing really, really well to make up for it.
Miss. That's pulled in by Knupp. Now Meeker gives it right back to Knuth. Now on the floor foul. Someone's going to go against
Mitchell. It'll be against Cougars Mitchell.
Yep. Sydney Mitchell just checked in. And Princess Gates is going to come in for Malia Perry. And now Miracle Anderson also going to come in for Wiggum. So Eagles going to stay on offense to inbound is Kilbottom. Has no problem getting it in. And a big block, but they're going to call it a foul. This is going to go against Abby Kulig. Actually, they call that on 10, Princess Gates?
Not sure. We'll have to see what comes up in the box score. Should have gone against Kulig as she came down with that hard swap. But, no, you're right, Parker. They're calling it on Gates, so must have been something other than the block that we didn't notice.
I definitely thought that would have been the block, but maybe something happened after. Results in a trip to the free throw line for Kaw. She goes 0 for 2 from the line. Cougars able to break the press. Seen some quick whistles here in the second half. The Eagles with 3 fouls in the final quarter, and the Cougars with 2. Now Sydney Mitchell going up against Wakaw. Mitchell off the screen from Kulig. Gets it to Scott in the corner. Back to Mitchell. Mitchell, a nice move.
Ooh.
And Sydney Mitchell, tough bucket.
Nice little bunny hop there to stop the momentum, keep the defense moving a little. Say Mitchell not afraid to play above her height. She one of the shorter players out here. And you can't tell by the way she plays. She's aggressive. She's got a lot of energy, and then she's shifty like that. She gets her some open shots even close to the rim.
And another foul, this time going to send Kilbottom to the free throw line. Sydney Mitchell is a fiery player at times, has provided a spark off the bench for this Cougars team. Saw just a glimpse of what she can do in her first season with the Cougars, but right now got to focus on these free throws from Kilbottom. She was 1 for 1 and now 2 for 2. Still in the full court press. Pass into Mitchell. Mitchell just going to take it herself and gets fouled hard by Kilbotton. And we just see the speed from Sydney Mitchell, just taking it herself, throwing her body, putting it out on the line, and drawing the foul.
Yeah, when you're 5'2" and you're going up against bigs, it should be relatively easier to draw fouls because you're so, the height difference is so great at times when you're going up against 6-footers, 5'11", 5'10", whatever it may be, that, they just don't know how to play defense against someone who is that shorter than them, and that usually draws fouls and whatnot. So Sydney Mitchell has kind of shown a knack for being able to draw those fouls by going to the rim and going up against those bigs.
Now Kaw going against Anderson. Pass is to Gustafson, who's checked back in after the 3 personal fouls. And knocked out of bounds. This might have been by Leela Scott. So the Eagles going to stay on offense up by 27. Passes into Isabel Schultz. First time we've called her name today. Now Gustafson in the paint. Gets a friendly bounce. And the bucket for Lacrosse. Now Leela Scott gets it to Sydney Mitchell. Mitchell going to try again, and wow, what a player Sydney Mitchell is. Tough basket from her.
Yeah, Mitchell starting to take over a little here. Only 5 points, but she's showing more energy than most of her teammates, more than anyone on the court, really. And sometimes when you're down by this much, you need one of those players to just come alive for your team and kind of drag them back in the game. Just energy level wise, man, it's hard to stay this energized when you're losing anywhere between 20 to 30 points, losing by anywhere between 20 and 30 points. So Cougars just need that energy, and Mitchell's providing it.
Now Leela Scott dribbling, picked up her dribble, has to get it to Kulig, and they're going to call a push in the back at Annika Gustafson. That's 4 on the sophomore from Gurney, Illinois.
She'll have to check out pretty soon here.
See what Moran Lawning decides to do with the 6-foot center.
You still got 4:49 left to go in the game. I mean, very, very likely she draws another foul at some point. So what head coach Lonnie does here. It looks like she'll stay in for now at least.
Really the only player. There are a couple players with 3 fouls, but Gustafson the only player in the game with 4. And now Wakaw gets it right back. This is Ella Jordan. Wakaw working against Anderson. Here's Gustafson. She's going to try a jumper. Offensive rebound by Torgerson, and she gets fouled on her way up. Foul's going to go against Leela Scott. That's going to be her 3rd, team 4th. Now Torgerson, first free throw, bounces around the rim a couple times, falls in. And Torgerson 2 for 2. But they're going to call a lane violation on Lacrosse, so that'll negate the free throw. As now we're going to get a substitution for the first time today. Kayla Jackson checks in for Leela Scott, who has 3 fouls in her 24 minutes of play on the season. Kayla Jackson has appeared in 7 games this season, appeared in 45 in her 5-year career with the Cougars. And they're swarming Sydney Mitchell. Quick timeout called by Coach Martin and the Cougars. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break here on the broadcast as Wisconsin Lacrosse up big on the Cougars, 85-59. We'll be back for the remainder of the quarter here on the Cougar Sports Network.
Now, we appreciate you tuning into today's game.
To stay up to date to all things CUC Women's Basketball. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at CUCWUall.
We'll see you on campus soon.
Kayla Jackson set to inbound for the Cougars. Gets it into Sydney Mitchell. Sydney Mitchell working against Isabel Schultz. Mitchell, no. Rebound pulled in by Wakaw. Gets it up court. Sydney Torgerson. And a charge taken by Kayla Jackson. Nice defensive play by the grad student.
Yeah, Kayla Jackson just checking in the game not too long ago. Stands her ground. Able to get her feet set to avoid a blocking charge and draws the charge instead. So good play there right out of the bench for Kayla Jackson.
Now Kayla Jackson gets it to Kulig, who's standing in the corner. She'll try a three. No. Abby Kulig hasn't attempted a whole lot of threes this year, but when you're that wide open, can you blame her?
Yeah, no open shot there. Sometimes it doesn't matter if, you're a three-point shooter or not. You've taken 2 threes. You've taken 200 threes. You got an open enough shot. You just need to take it.
A complete lapse in defense results in the layup for Ella Jordan. Her first points of the evening was wide open. You probably won't get an easier layup in your life, as a wild attempt from Kulig results in the rebound from Jordan. Doing it on both ends of the floor is Gustafson motioning. Gets it to Wakaw at the top. Gives it up to Schultz. Now Schultz. Short little pass right back to Gustafson. Eagles wasting as much time as they can. Now Gustafson. Not much Kulig could have done on that.
No, good move there by Gustafson just to back off Kulig. Kulig gets bounced off, maybe looking for some kind of offensive foul, and all Gustafson has to do is turn around and put the ball in the basket.
Now Kayla Jackson, the pump fake. She's going to drive in. She's going to left-handed layup. Good from Kayla Jackson.
On the baseline, too. She was running out of room, probably pretty close to hitting that. The backboard, excuse me. A nice spatial awareness there from Jackson. She's looked sharp in her limited minutes so far.
And a foul against Princess Gates. Sydney Torgerson going up for the layup attempt. So now a chance to the free throw line. Coach Martin putting in a couple of her reserves as number 11, Emma Nickerson, number 22, Lindley Southern, and number 25, Janie Turnez, going to get some late minutes here in the final quarter of action. Torgerson's first free throw is good. Torgerson also has 4 personal fouls, in addition to Gustafson with the 4. Torgerson able to connect on both the free throws. Now Sydney Mitchell. Screen set from Turnez. Turnez had an open lane to the basket. Rebound by Southern. Now Nickerson the pass to Mitchell. Kayla Jackson trying to get it to Turnez once again. Suffocating defense by Gustafson. Sydney Mitchell going to take it herself. And a foul on. This is going to go against Isabel Schultz. For a second, I thought that might have went against Torgerson, and that would have been her 5th. But they're going to assess the foul to Schultz. That'll send Sydney Mitchell to the free throw line. Sydney Mitchell does not connect on her first one as a team. The Cougars are shooting 11 from 15 from the line. Not a bad day. Meanwhile, La Crosse, they're shooting 12 of 19, which is about 63%.
Now, you do wish the Cougars could get to the free throw line a little bit more, especially since they're hitting them at a pretty fair clip, right around 75% of the time. And when you're struggling to score, you got to find ways to score, and one of those ways is free throws. Running into contact, drawing fouls. that's a good way to get some free buckets and maybe get your offense going. And that's something the Cougars haven't been able to do, only getting 16 free throws so far today.
And now Sydney Mitchell in and out. Rebound pulled in by, or tried to pull in by Southern. Torgerson ended up having it in the end, but a jump ball possession arrow favoring Concordia. Nickerson to inbound. Cougars trailing by 29. Pass intercepted by Ella Jordan. Quick up the court to Wakaw, and Wakaw is going to get the transition layup.
Yeah, UW La Crosse just so speedy. As soon as they have someone who has a chance to break away, they usually are the one in an open lane.
And now Jordan going to try again. And another charge taken by Kayla Jackson.
That's a thankless job, but Kayla Jackson ready to do it. It's not a fun job getting ran into by players who are probably running at pretty high speeds. But if it means causing a turnover for your team, then you're going to put your body on the line every time to do so.
Kayla Jackson has taken 2 charges, not something that'll show up on the stat sheet necessarily, but 2 big defensive plays for her. Sydney Mitchell gets it to Alina Paul, who just checked in. Alina Paul diving on the floor. Quick timeout called by Coach Martin, so this is going to be a 30-second timeout with 40 seconds remaining. And Peter, pretty much La Crosse has sealed the deal with this game. They're up 93-62. Coach Martin pretty much emptying the bench, putting in her reserves. But let's talk about Kayla Jackson a little bit. Taking those 2 charges, 2 big plays for her coming off the bench.
Yeah, and she scored a pretty shifty bucket, too, on the baseline drive around defenders. So Kayla Jackson's looked pretty nice in her 4 minutes of play so far. And, I mean, at this stage of the game, that's all you really hope to see if you are Coach Martin is, hey, I'm going to give some of these other players some time to shine, which we've seen a lot of the last couple games. I mean, the last 3 games we've had here in Geisman this past week have all been blowouts in one way or the other. Thankfully for the Cougars, the last 2 were in their favor. Today, not so much, but that means Coach Martin's been able to play about her entire bench each of the last 3 games, her entire bench the last 2 games. I'm not sure off the top of my head if she's played everyone here today. I think she has, so she's getting a really good extended look at some of these players who, you know, she might not have seen too much of in the early goings of the season. And Kayla Jackson, I think, is one of those players who's done a good job to impress so far.
Now that shot from Jordan, no good. Quick pass up court to Alina Paul. She's going to try to take it herself, and she gets the bucket. Alina Paul.
Yeah, nice move there by Paul just to stop her feet. I don't think the defender really knew what to do there, and Paul just shot it right over her head.
Now Wakaw gets a final say-so, and here's the boos rain down in Geisman, but Janie Turnez is going to get the buzzer beater, but won't do much as the Cougars drop this matchup 95-66 to University of Wisconsin La Crosse. The Eagles are going to improve to 4-4 overall. Meanwhile, the Cougars are going to fall to 5-5, still 2-0 in the conference play, still sitting pretty securely at that 3rd spot in the conference, as this is a non-conference loss. Let's go ahead and look at the box score. Leading the team in scoring for the Cougars was Malia Perry with 16. She was electric coming off the bench. Missouri Wiggum provided 13. Michaela Ellis with 10. Only players to score in double figures for the Cougars for La Crosse. Lauren Milne. Lauren Milne show with 21. Also, Kaylee Meeker with 20. Peter, what really helped the Eagles was that first quarter play, no doubt.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it, besides that first quarter, Cougars, they won the second and third quarter of play. Of course, now is when my stats, there we go. And the fourth quarter, you know, went the way of Eagles, 23-16, but that's not a huge margin to lose a fourth quarter by. But yeah, that first quarter just probably the worst quarter we've seen of basketball for the CUC WBB team all season. 38-13 in favor of the Eagles. it's tough to overcome a slow start like that. Not only are you down by 25 leaving the first quarter, your confidence is shot, your momentum is non-existent. You didn't get any momentum at all. And, would it be a different story if you replaced that first quarter with, a not as big loss for CUC? Maybe, but definitely not doing any favors for the Cougars. And UW-La Crosse, credit them. They just played a great game of basketball. They played a very clean game of basketball. They were efficient. They shot the ball well, played great defense all day long against these Cougars.
Real quick, want to give a shout out to our student workers able to make this broadcast possible. Our spotter, Chandler Kerr, working the scoreboard. Wyatt McLaughlin on the camera. It's Dave and Saba Miller. Working the shot clock was Steven as well. We are under the direction of Cindy Pulaska-Slaher and our sports information director, Kayla McLeod. This is my final broadcast, and just want to thank you, Peter, for being my partner for the last couple of years. It's been an absolute pleasure. I want to thank all the viewers who have tuned in and made the Cougar Sports Network what it is. I cannot say thank you enough. One final time, signing off from Geisman Gymnasium, wanting to wish you all a great rest of your weekend, happy holidays, and wanting to say, as always, roll Cougars.